Be the change you want to see. Make a difference by giving your money a purpose, a mission to do good. Welcome to Money with Mission, where we talk to individuals, businesses, and organizations who are taking the lead and whose actions are impacting the well-being of their communities and the world at large.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Money with Mission. Today, I have the opportunity to chat with a friend of mine on air, Monick Halm. Monick and I have known each other for a long time. We'll talk about how we met and that relationship. Monick is the founder of Real Estate Investor Goddesses. I've had the opportunity to watch her build that business, and it's pretty exciting. She's an educator and advocate for women to create wealth through real estate. She is a real estate investor herself, a syndicator and developer with over 14 years of real estate investing experience in multifamily, mobile home parks, RV parks, flipping, commercial, vacation rental, syndication, and ground-up development. Together with her husband, Peter, and their investors, she owns over 1,300 rental units across 6 states. We'll get into Monick's other claims to fame, multiple books where she's a best-selling author. Welcome, Monick. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Felicia.
I really appreciate it. So I know you and I've heard your story, but I know a lot of people don't. Like, how did you get to Real Estate Investor Goddesses?
So it's funny. We met through the real estate guys world, right? Mm-hmm. And when I went to my first syndication seminar, which was really my first real estate seminar. I became an accidental real estate investor. Was never taught anything about real estate. The only thing I was ever taught was to buy your own home. And so I did that at one point, and then we got excited about those HGTV shows, and we started flipping. So it kind of like fell into real estate. And when I met Robert Helms, who's one of the real estate guys, which was in October of 2015. I was flipping houses, but it was really in Los Angeles. It had been very easy right after the crash when houses were on sale. And by 2015, they were not so on sale, and it was a lot more competitive. And I wanted to do a buy and hold in Los Angeles. I was looking for a fourplex. Nothing made any financial sense. There was no cash flow.
And why Los Angeles? Just so people
because I lived there.
That's where you lived
in Los Angeles, and until I met Robert Helms, and we had this 10-minute conversation that changed everything. I always thought you had to invest where you lived. Where You could drive to your property, touch it, self-manage it. Never occurred to me that you could invest anywhere else. And LA was expensive, but it was where I lived. So that was where I invested. And then when I met Robert Helms through a mutual friend, Kyle Wilson, and Kyle said, "Oh, you should meet my friend Robert. He's the host of Real Estate Guys radio podcast. He's done like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate investing. He might be able to help you out. He's coming to LA." So that was, I remember it's October 15th. And I went to dinner and we were talking, and he told me first, like, I was telling him about trying to find a fourplex in LA. It didn't make any sense. And he said, LA is a really tough market. I always say, live where you want to live, invest where the numbers make sense. It makes so much sense after you hear it. But until he said that, I was like, you mean you can invest outside of where you live? So I was like, ooh, paradigm shift. And then the other thing he said was, and you can buy that fourplex by yourself, but you're limited to your own capital and credit. So alternatively, you can bring a group of investors together and you can get a 100, 200 unit apartment building. I was like,
that's cute. Oh my gosh.
I was like, that's a thing? Like, I literally thought you had to be a billionaire to do that. I had no idea that regular people could do that. I was like, oh, I would do that. So I came home that night and told Peter, I was like, Peter, there's this thing. It's called syndication. We bring some investors together. We should learn how to do that. And so we signed up that night for the syndication seminar, which was in January 2016 in Phoenix. And so when we went to that seminar, which was super inspiring, and that was the whole time, like, yes, this is how you build wealth. This is how we help people. This is how, I was just like so excited. Even though a lot of it was over my head at that point. Like, I had no idea what you're talking about, but I love it. Can't wait to understand this fully. And then I guess they always do like Friday and Saturday. And Friday night we stayed over, and Sunday morning I was in the hotel gym and I'm on the elliptical and I'm thinking back over the weekend, and Russell Gray, who's Robert Helm's partner and co-host, he kept saying, when you're thinking about real estate, when I think about who do you want to work with, build your brand, build your network, build your brand, build your network, who do you want to work with? So I'm on this elliptical thinking about that and thinking about that room that we'd been in. And there were 120 people or thereabouts. And I think, including me, there were maybe 8 women. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yep, because in that room. I met you in that room, but we're in that
room. Exactly.
And then we joined their syndication mentoring club. Well, it became
Inner Circle.
The Inner Circle. It was then it was the only thing they had, and we joined that. And it's like a high-end mastermind. There were 19 people in it at the time. I was the only woman. And until you came and joined me a few months later, but I was like the only woman. And so I'm in this elliptical, and I'm thinking about that, and came as this divine download: just bring women into that room, like talk to women, have women here. And I'd already been working with women. I started my career as a lawyer, but between that and while I was flipping, I became an abundance coach for women. So I was already working with women around money. Okay. And then that just like to bring women in that room, real estate, this is how you build wealth, really help women around that. That's where that came in. Not the how of it, but the mission to help 1 million women create financial freedom through real estate. That came that morning in the gym.
The whole part of the 1 million women, all of that was downloaded on the elliptical that morning.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Not the how. I
understand. You're like, because that's how that stuff comes, right?
Yeah.
This is what's going to happen. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, but all right, that's how, but it excited me.
Yes.
It excited me.
I remember actually.
I was like, this feels right. And then I went and I just started looking like women in real estate, and there was
nothing. Yeah. Very little. Yeah.
Very little. Nothing. So there's since I'm excited, there have been there's still like way too little compared, but there have been a few others that have, but 2016 it was nothing.
So you had this vision, you still have this vision, mm-hmm. and I've watched you grow, like I said, and seen this really come to light. Talk more about the how, and I know you didn't probably sit down and plan it all out, or maybe you did, and then I can guarantee, just because I know how life is, things haven't gone exactly how you planned. But you had this mission to mm-hmm. serve up 1 million women, get them into real estate, help them understand real estate, build wealth. Talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. So in terms of specifically how I'm doing it, or how?
Well, let's get a little bit more specific. What's made it difficult for you?
What's made it difficult?
Yes.
Well, the biggest things that have made it difficult is like right here, right in my head.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins says success is 80% psychology, 20% mm-hmm. strategy. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the work that I've done has been on my own psychology, because I know that I had to become, and I'm still in the process of becoming, but I need to become the person that can call in 1 million women.
Yeah.
Right. So that's been a big part of it, just in the, like, who did I need to become in order to create what I'm trying to create? Because it was a way bigger mission. I mean, it's still a really huge mission, but I've had to expand mm-hmm. in terms of my beingness in order to get there. So that's an ongoing process.
And go right ahead, finish up.
Yeah. And then on the strategic level, so then that's now it comes to the 20% strategy. The strategy has been about, how do I really scale? So how can I structure this to scale so that it can encompass that million? So that's mm-hmm. been a big part of how I've thought about it from the beginning, and just trying to create that. It's not a lot of people around me that have that, that's had that level of scale. So just trying to learn from folks that have been able to do that, and grow towards it. But that's where I'm at.
I think you and I both know, and I want the listeners to understand that the beginning, your vision isn't, the first thing isn't taking all those steps to the vision or the strategy part, is what you said. It's the mindset part. It's understanding who you need to be to get there, and working on yourself, no matter what you're trying to do, is your first mission. And once you've figured out that part, once you've started down that, because it's a continuous process, right? We're never there. You get to the next place, and you're like, okay, now I need to do this to get to this thing. It's a continual thing, but the most necessary thing. And I really like that you said that. I really appreciate that.
It really is everything. Getting to the, that mindset piece.
I like you and Peter have done some things together and showing how couples can work together. Talk about that a little bit. How is that working for you? And how do you guys make that work?
So we have my main business partner, both in Real Estate Investor Goddesses and in our investing business, Vineyard Investment Partners, is my husband, Peter. And so a lot of people ask us, how do you do this together successfully? And not only have we focused on building a business together successfully, we focused on using this process to deepen our relationship. So not just about increasing our income, but our intimacy and our love at the same time. And so part of what's worked well is that intention, like starting out with that intention and being really specific and intentional. And then we did a retreat last year, Real Estate Investor Soulmates Retreat, which was about that. And so, in preparation for the retreat, was like a diagram, like, so how did we do this? What specifically did we do? So, and I came up with this formula, like love formula, LOVE. So the L had to do with our language around each other. So really understanding each other's language and codes and how the other person speaks and frames around the world. So that partly it's love languages, which a lot of people have heard of. And then it's partly understanding their unique personality code so that I can understand what motivates him and vice versa. And so we're speaking each other's language in the way that the other is hearing
okay.
It. The O part has to do with orgasm. And actually,
don't panic, people. Good. Don't panic. This is good.
No, this is really good. But if they're younger folks around, maybe they should have come up with a warning. But anyway, so the little ones might want to listen with headphones right now. But this is tapping into that power of orgasm, which people might think it's crazy. But if anyone's heard of the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he actually talks about this in the book, right? There's a
chapter. I missed that one.
I know most people do, but there is a chapter on like he doesn't. It's like sexual training. There is one on sexuality.
Yeah.
He doesn't necessarily talk about it in the way we do it, but basically, when you are in that state of orgasm, you are actually at your most attractive. And I'm not talking about physically attractive. I'm talking about law of attraction. And that is a very, that's like your most attractive in terms of bringing in what you want. So we never waste an orgasm. When we're in that state of orgasm, in thinking about it before, actually we'll have an orgasm, one or the other, and then the other person will sort of yell or whisper in the ear, $10 million, whatever it is. If you don't have a partner, you can do this yourself.
So it's on your way to work.
You can, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be, you're like, I can't do this. I don't have a partner. It's like, you can still do it. As long as you can orgasm, you can tap into this, but never waste an orgasm. It's very powerful.
I love that.
So we literally orgasmed our way into our real estate portfolio. And then V is our vision and values. So making sure that those are aligned and meeting regularly. So we talk once a week, but then once a quarter, we spend a half a day to a day really looking at our vision and where are we. And then E is environment. So that has to do partly with our, like, who are we surrounding ourselves with in terms of our environment? And it's also like our physical environment too. It's like, where are we living and being? Is that supportive of us? And it's our inner environment. So also, is that where are we living and being that's supportive of us? So that's where we focus, and that's made a big difference in our relationship and in our success.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. I'm got some things to work on with my partner.
And they're fun, right? So
exactly.
people are like, "Oh, does that orgasm thing really work?" I was like, "Who cares? What's the downside? No downside.
No downside. Exactly.
You had an orgasm, even if it doesn't manifest anything. Like, you had an orgasm. No downside.
Exactly. You had an orgasm.
This win-win. There's no, even if it doesn't work, it's worked, right? So it's still good.
The part and spending the time like as a business also. So it's really. We'll have to, I really like that. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. Let's switch over to what you guys are doing with real estate. I know you've got some high impact things going on. Talk about what's you got projects going on now, a recent project, kind of let everybody know. I think people think that they have to invest just for the money. And I think that keeps a lot of people from investing. And I want everybody to know that there are projects where you can have an impact on other people's lives and your bottom line.
Absolutely. Actually, as part of our mission. Our mission is we'll only invest where we can leave a property and the community better than we found it. It's not about being a slumlord. It's not about getting every dollar out of a deal. Mm-hmm. It really is about like how can we use this process to make it a better world. So there are a couple of projects. I was just in Jackson, Mississippi last week, and we have a portfolio of single families. We find single families in C-class neighborhoods and need some loving, and we improve them, put in tenants, and then we sell them as turnkey properties to turnkey investors. And what's nice about it's very win-win, I think, because we're improving these houses, and they at the end they end up looking really nice. You don't have to make expensive rehabs to make something look nice and expensive. And so that's what we do.
And you're buying a neighborhood, or you're picking houses out of neighborhoods?
We're picking houses out of neighborhoods.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll buy a portfolio, but they're all, they're in certain areas of Jackson, but B- to C neighborhoods. And we'll fix them up. We'll put in families. So we only almost exclusively buy 3 bedrooms. We try whenever possible actually to put veterans and work with VA and other some organizations local organizations to house veterans.
Okay.
But we make nice homes for families, and then we help investors who are out of state that want a nice cash flowing property. So that's win-win. So it has impacts on the local communities and our tenants, and then the end buyers.
You picked Jackson, Mississippi because you had a team there. You built a team there, and you could see where you could make an impact. So you buy single family houses, you fix them up. You're not fixing up to raise the rent to get people out of the neighborhood. You're fixing up a house, keeping it within the affordability of people who live in that neighborhood so that they can have a nicer house. You get that house rented, then you sell it to an investor. So they have a cash flowing property. Is that that's correct? Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of our tenants are Section 8 or like I said, these low income veterans, very affordable housing.
Yeah.
So mostly the rents are in the $750 to $850 a month range.
Yeah. So that the markets are there, guys. There are places where you can do lots of different things. It doesn't have to be single family houses, but we had another interview where Sepp does kind of the same thing. He buys a neighborhood, a portfolio of homes, and improves them just exactly how Monick is talking about. They do in Jackson. So I love that. You had another one recently, a commercial building. Yeah,
I did. So one of the asset classes that we are investing in And we like, especially right now, so we bring investors together to purchase properties, and we're always looking for what will work, in any economic environment, especially the challenging one that we're finding ourselves in right now, right?
Yep.
And one of the asset classes we really like is industrial.
Mm-hmm.
It's industrial and medical office have been the least affected by the COVID. Everything else has had some pretty dramatic drops.
Right.
But industrial is doing really well, especially ones for essential businesses. And we recently got one, and we find businesses that are doing really well that we think are great businesses, because it's a single tenant. So basically, this particular one it's a organic baby food plant. So it's a really great company that I think they were given an award for being like this best small business, because they do a lot in the community, and they've been around. They had a fire a few years ago. They rebuilt the plant. It was brand new from last year, but they need to get the equity out, and it's hard for them with financing to be able to get all the equity that they needed. So we do these sale leasebacks. We bought the property from them, and then they just leased it right back from us, and they become our tenants for a 20-year lease. And they're great, fairly easy deals, similar returns to a multifamily syndication.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you get about 8% cash on cash return, around like 20, like a 2x multiple in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, so they're these great steady companies that are essential businesses doing really well right now. But they're doing well, and they do well, and it's organic. It's and they take really good care of their people, even when they were closed and rebuilding. Mm-hmm. They kept most of their staff on, or they found them new jobs in the area. It's good. It's a good business, doing good things.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have any projects now? I think you were the way you talked about Jackson, that might be some place for investors to be able to work with you.
Yeah. So we have these turnkey homes. So if people are interested in that, they can definitely reach out at reigoddesses.com. Join our investor club and click on investor club. It's free to join, and you'll find out about all of our passive investing opportunities, like these turnkey houses, or sale leasebacks, like our organic baby food company, or any other thing we do.
Nice. In addition, so you could be a passive investor with Peter and Monick in their Vineyard Investments, correct? And Monick teaches women how to invest. So if you want to be an active investor, how could they reach out to you to do that?
I teach women through Real Estate Investor Goddesses. Again, if you go to reigoddesses.com, you'll find out information. Do my free training, how to get started in real estate investing, even as a busy professional woman. And you'll find out more, but also click onto our programs if you want a shortcut and find out what kind of offerings we have. But we're really about education and creating a supportive community. Real estate investing can often feel a bit like an old boys network. I don't think the men are deliberately trying to keep us out, but majority men, and people invest with who they know, like, and trust. And
exactly.
So they bond and hang out with each other and do business together. And so what we're creating here is our Sassy Sisters Network, our antidote to the old boys network. And there's a really amazing community of women that are learning together, supporting one another in a cooperative, non-competitive, supportive community.
Yeah.
So join us there.
The way women work together, the collaboration that we have generally when we're working together, and work together as women and not as we've learned in the outside world, like where many of us have been in our professions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Monick, you hinted at that you're an attorney a long time ago, and you've outgrown that.
Peter says he practiced until he became perfect, then you stopped. I guess. So I can stop practicing. I got it.
I love it. I love it. So we'll have all of Monique's contact information in the show notes. Say that one more time, reigoddesses.com.
reigoddesses.com. We're also at REI Goddesses on all the socials.
Got it. So you can find her very easily. But we didn't talk about all the books. Monique's #1 best-selling. She wrote her own book, Real Estate Investor Goddesses. She did a compilation book, which I worked with her on that. Wealth for Women, Conversations with the Team That Creates the Dream. Monique has her own podcast, Real Estate Investors Podcast. She's a busy woman getting lots of things done. It's pretty amazing. We all do, and I'm hand up to you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Having me.
Thank you so much. And until next time, everybody, go out, send your money into the world, give it a mission, impact the lives of others and your bottom line. See you next time.
You've been listening to Money with Mission. There are projects happening right now where you can make a great return while positively impacting the lives of others. To learn more about today's guests or to download 7 steps to building resilient wealth for women, visit www.moneywithmission.com.